It's a new season. The Kirby Smart era is upon us. 2016 Dog Center, brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Georgia Bulldogs.
We are back, baby.
Hey guys, it's great to be back. I am filling in host Mike Ustry, along with Dennis Strollin.
And Russ Tanner.
Shout out to Matt Chastain, who was on a brief hiatus. So the secret around town is Matt is filming a movie.
Yeah.
So we're all aware of that. So
he and his uncle Steven Spielberg have been collaborating. Not really, but he is off on a great project. We're excited for him. Miss him here, but big things coming from Mr. Chastain.
Absolutely. So we're very hopeful he'll be back and great things going on. So we have with us Russ and Dennis. Tell us what's been going on with you.
Oh goodness, I'm helping coach football at North Oconee this year, trying to help the O-line, try to pass on some of the secrets that I've learned.
Tons of secrets. This guy teach you anything?
A few things along the way.
Good deal.
Yeah, so those of us who know him, nobody calls him Dennis. So this is the Deacon, and we've been together a long time. Came in as freshman, great guy, hardest working dude probably I ever personally played with. And it's fun now to watch him come back and coach some of these high school kids and hear some of the ringers he puts them through. He learned from the greatest, Neil Calloway, about how to make somebody's life miserable on the offensive line. That's a prerequisite for being an O-line coach, and
sure is.
He's doing that now. So glad to have Deacon with us this morning and excited for the year.
Absolutely. So Dennis, how many years do you play in the league?
I got 8 years in.
8 years.
Full
Most of
retirement.
them with Bengals.
6 years there.
Very nice.
So he got 8 years in. That's what, 8.5 more than you and I had combined?
Yeah. 9 more than I had. Absolutely. Good. So a lot of Cincinnati chili dogs up there.
Sure. Still trying to do it down here. Buy the cans of Skyline chili and make them myself. So
nice, very nice. Well, let's kick off going into this season. So you mentioned Coach Calloway. He's out at where? Southern Cal now.
Southern Cal, USC.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we coaching changes year in, year out. We said it last episode here. Coach Rick was on his way out. We were guessing it was going to be Kirby Smart.
Yep.
Lo and behold, it is Kirby Smart. So you guys give me your take on how well Coach Smart has done thus far without even playing a game.
I don't think he could have started it better. He said and done all the right things. Kind of the word on the street was it was going to be a new regime, a new attitude, a new energy, and he's delivered on that, no doubt about it. I don't think you could go back now and look and say, oh, he should have done this differently, should have done that a little bit better. I mean, the man knows what he's doing. He learned from little Nicky. Say what you want about your opinion of Nick Saban, but he's arguably the greatest college coach of our generation. He studied under him. He's brought in a lot of that attitude and work ethic and how it operates. And, if the on-the-field transition is as smooth and energetic as what we've seen in the offseason, a lot of reason for the Dog fans to be excited.
No, absolutely. 92,000 fans, G-Day.
that's some energy.
That is a lot of energy. So you guys there?
Technically, it was 93K.
93K.
Day.
That's what they're
You're
pushing.
right.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, call the SID department. We'll check our facts from now on. So yeah, Kirby's come in. He's brought in a whole new coaching staff. Yep. It's a supporting cast issue there. Kirby's doing jobs and duties he hasn't had to do before. He's learning that. He's got Coach Cavan there to help him out with all of that stuff going on. What of our assistant coaches, who has made the biggest impact so far as an assistant?
I'm biased. I'm going to go with the O-line coach Pittman. Saw him in action a little bit this summer. We took our offensive lineman to one of the summer camps, and he was there working out a few kids on the side. And just to see him the way he works with the kids, the technique, and the way he gets after them, I think he's going to make the biggest impact this year for us.
I mean, I would have gone Pittman as well. Again, offensive linemen are clearly, by far and away, the most important aspect of any team, as you well know. It's the way it is. So, to see Pittman recruiting and hear kind of what he's doing philosophy-wise, and his resume speaks volumes. But the other side of that, to go a little bit differently is, you look at Mel Tucker coming in as a defensive coordinator. Kirby obviously is going to put his imprint on the defense. He's probably going to be the guy calling the big picture shots, but you've got to have that guy doing the day-to-day grind as far as film, evaluations, making sure your guys are in the right place, and then doing play calling, when Saturdays roll around. How you line up against North Carolina is going to go a long way to if we're 1-0 or 0-1. So a Mel Tucker coming in, tons of experience, been a part of that Saban regime for a long time. Is he going to be able to come in and step up and be the big dog as far as the day-to-day running the defense? And, if he is in that defensive special, it's going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, we definitely have the talent on that side of the ball. So I'm eager to see how that plays out this fall. A couple questions for you. So I think Chaney is getting overlooked as a coordinator, and everything's flowing down, it seems, in the media to Pittman, and I don't know, justifiably so or not. Tell me from an X's and O's standpoint, or from whatever you hear across the board, that Sam Pittman is the best offensive line coach in college football. What sets him apart from coaches we've had in the past? You mentioned Coach Callaway, great coach, but what is it about Pittman other than his resume on the field that y'all see that I've heard the players that I talk to, they rave about him. They absolutely think he's phenomenal.
So I'll start with an ignorant answer, then we'll let the man who knows more about it than I do come in and put there. But the thing you read, and again, you and I just read the post. Yes. We just see what's online with all the other chowderheads like us trying to follow it. But it seems like he's a big technique guy, a big teacher of what you're going to do. You know, the offense we're running now is not a gimmick. It's not something like they run in the eastern edge of Alabama or something they run out in Oregon. I mean, this is a traditional lineup and smash mouth football. And with that, you don't have the opportunity to hide talent weaknesses. So you guys have to be good at what they do, technique-wise, leverage, pad level, all this stuff. Because you can't be you can be the biggest guy in the world, but you ain't going to road grade nobody without good technique. And just kind of what I hear is he's great at teaching the technique there. And hopefully you get some big old fat sookies who are able to use good technique, then you get people starting to get pounded, and that's what we want to see. So
that's exactly right. And it's got to fit with the offense, the scheme on offense too, with the technique. You can go so many different ways, but if it meshes right with what Coach Chaney has, we're gonna have a good season with O-line.
Yeah, very, very good reason to be very optimistic about this.
What do you think? So here's a question. Can I jump off the script for a second?
Please do.
So looking at our O-line. So Dennis is the tallest player, fact check, we'll just go, tallest player in the history of Georgia football.
Yeah, got to
play tackle, and that's kind of what you want. You want these big, long guys. So Deke, they're talking about right now, our starting left tackle is Isaiah Wynn, who if you stretch him out is 6'3", and if you catch him after the buffet on Sunday afternoon, he's 290 pounds. I mean, how does a guy play in the SEC being 6'3", 290 pounds playing left tackle?
Right off the top of my head, he's got to be smart, so he's got to know what he's doing every play, and he's got to have the technique we were just talking about has got to be on point every play. If he's not going to build out muscle somebody or out strength them, he's got to know exactly where he needs to be, how to do it, expect what the defense is going to do to him. But I know he can get it done, and with Coach Pittman helping him out, watching film, getting prepared each week, I'm sure he'll have some good season, good games for us.
I hope so, because that's big.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk, and I don't know if you're going to bring up the second most important position on offense, quarterback.
Oh, second?
But those guys, no matter who it is, Lambert, Easton, Ramsey, if that O-line, that left tackle in particular, is not doing what he's supposed to do, it's going to be a long day for them boys back there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good reason your left tackles are paid handsomely in the league. I mean, they should be, because it's the blind spot. So to dive into one more area on the offensive line, we had a huge recruit last year, Ben Cleveland.
Yep.
Ginormous kid, offensive tackle right at the road, strong as an ox, very savvy, early enrollee. He gets moved into guard. Why is that somebody prototypical tackle size winds up playing inside right off the bat versus out on the edge?
I think it's a big adjustment. I know for me personally, coming from high school to the SEC, I thought it was a bigger jump than going from the SEC to the NFL.
Wow.
Just for me personally. And I've even seen teammates in Cincinnati, big Andrew Whitworth, the left tackle there, he's been there, Pro Bowl, been there many years. When he came in from LSU, he started at guard for his first couple seasons before he got shifted out to tackle. So I understand it's a big jump. You got to get out there and move. As that comes along with him, hopefully in the next year or two, he could slide out and take over that spot and hold it down.
Yeah, so playing tackle is all about leverage, footwork. You got to have tremendous feet to be out there on an island.
That's why I was the right tackle. That's why I was the left tackle.
Well, and I played center right in the middle, right? And the farther you go out from the ball, the more variety you have to be able to stop.
Yeah.
Down there with us, typically you had a 320-pound bowling ball who you had to stop coming before he knocked your pins down.
Yes.
You go out there where those guys played on the edge, you get guys who would be big bull rushers, Marcus Spears at LSU, just big, strong guys. Then you get guys like Georgia had, like, Marcus Howard, these guys who can fly.
Guys, yeah.
Then you get people like the incomparable David Pollock who could go through you or go around you. And you got to be able to stop all that. And, for a guy like Ben Cleveland, the biggest, strongest kid I've ever seen to be 17 years old, which he's still 17 right now.
Yeah.
To make that transition outside and be able to stop all that, it's probably a little bit harder than going in at guard where you're in a phone booth, you're big enough and strong enough, you can probably put your hands on somebody and they're going to have a bad day.
Yeah. So it's Playing tackle is all about technique. It's a very brainy position, which I think a lot of people get confused
I think
about.
they have the highest Wonderlic score every year at the combine.
No, centers are smart.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I think we need to check that.
That's a good fact check right there. All right, let's move on to the next thing. So, interesting things. We're really tied to Alabama now, naturally so. Everything's pulling in from Alabama. But the latest topic of discussion, Maurice Smith, going to be a senior on the field at Alabama. He has graduated. He just graduated last Saturday. Maybe you've heard there's some turmoil. He wants to transfer. He's been verbal about he wants to transfer to Georgia to play for Coach Smart and Coach Tucker. Alabama said no right off the bat. It's well within their right. It's what Coach Saban decided to do. What's your take on it?
Deep.
I was going to let you start it out, actually. I don't know if you want me to get going on it.
I think it's a tricky situation. Mm-hmm. I think there obviously is a difference for a guy who's a graduate student kid who's coming out as opposed to just your undergrads being able to go where they want. This year there was some, when what was our running back? AJ Turman went to leave. Kirby blocked him from going to Miami, which I understand. You don't want your whole team, half your team, a third of your team, 5 guys, whatever, following the staff that recruited them in who have relationships just because they think it's an easier path. So, it's a tricky situation going there as far as what you can allow and what you don't. And it's funny to me because I know Mike's already been warned not to tell us his true feelings about some of this, which is okay because there's much bigger picture at play as far as what the NCAA allows, what the SEC does, what schools do, what coaches can do versus players. But ultimately, I think in this situation, Nick Saban, right or wrong, ended up saying basically it ain't worth the PR hassle to keep fighting the fight, right or wrong. Let's just call it a day, wish the kid well, and see what happens. So, hey, personally, I hope he comes to Georgia, baby. He's a 4-star cornerback. He'll be in the rotation, knows the defense, and we need depth. So
yes, we do.
Bring him on. I'm glad it's working out this way.
Gotcha.
My take.
Well, I'm probably over here on this camp with the rules and the NCAA. I don't know everything about it, the rules behind it. I know I was looking at something earlier. As an undergrad, it looked like the reason they have you sit out a year would be because they want you to get your academics and get settled in the school. But that's only the case if you're not playing football, basketball, men's ice hockey.
Exactly.
Then there's some things where you can jump right in and play again. So, there's some things that go on behind the scenes, and we're not privy to all that. But I'm glad he got his release, and if he's ready, he wants to move on to a new school, I think he should be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're at the current moment we're waiting on the SEC to rule.
Yes.
So that's my biggest take is Alabama, their bureaucracy, they could kick the can down the road and then they basically can punt to the SEC, which that could get hung up for a couple of weeks and you just don't know how long it's going to play out. So
which isn't fair to the kid, though.
No, it's absolutely not fair to the kid. Let's make a decision and let him move on with life. So hopefully this time next week we're saying we have a new transfer.
Nickelback, got a new corner, baby,
coming in, and then we can talk about the dynamics of what that looks like, him fitting in on the team, et cetera.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting situation. It just proves how this is big business.
No doubt.
And that's what we're dealing with. So.
No doubt.
All right, final topic of discussion. Injuries at running back. What are we looking like? Nick Chubb, what are we hearing? What are we hearing about Soni Michel? And then we got a little bit more depth than I think people realize with the two that are coming in, and Brendan Douglas has proven to be way more than serviceable in the past. Your take?
My first take is Nick Chubb is a freaking stud. I mean, you think back towards the end of last year, you're talking career-ending stuff.
Yeah.
We had the unfortunate experience of playing with a few guys like Albert Hollis, who had crazy injuries that were just never able to physically recover. And you were worried that you're going to have some of that, some Marcus Lattimore type stuff with Nick Chubb that he may not ever play again. If he will probably be a shadow of himself. To see him doing drills, which you can go see clips online of all these different media outlets, see what he's doing. I don't think he's put his shoulder down and hit somebody yet, which is the ultimate test.
Yeah.
But to see him moving like he's moving, doing what he's doing, it's unbelievable. So, what is Dog Nation going to do if on the first snap we do toss sweep to the right, Nick Chubb cranks a dude, does a spin and goes 75 yards to the house?
Which is entirely possible against
oh my God.
against what we play, yeah. So, yeah.
I don't know the amount of money that I'll be willing to pay for that.
Yeah.
It would be well above what I make on a regular monthly basis.
Oh,
that would be the most awesome thing ever for a kid like that. So that's my take on Nick Chubb. Soni Michel?
I'm in the dark here, guys. I haven't kept up with his injury as much. Not in the know on that. So maybe you've got something on that.
Yeah. So the take on Soni broke his arm in he wasn't being careless or anything, just a freak 4-wheeler accident. Yeah. Okay, yeah, he's a young man. Let's let him do what he's doing.
Get off your high horse about Soni Michel. Yeah. He's having fun in the summer.
Exactly. He was being very responsible. Had an injury, opposite arm of what he hurt last year. So I don't think we really realized how bad he was going through season last year with his other arm. But he may be a little slower. They're going to take him a little bit more time with him. But the two freshmen we got coming in,
Elijah Holyfield.
Yeah.
I mean, sounds like he's ready to knock a fool out. See what I did there?
Hey, nice connection.
But,
I like it.
But you see that guy, like, you can't build a physical specimen that looks better than he does.
Absolutely not.
I mean, just jack. His parents has great balance, and he's got the champ's blood in him, baby.
He does.
I'm excited for those guys. We got a lot of talent, and hopefully those big nasties up front will give them a little bit of space to operate.
Take it back to the line.
Yeah. What else are we going to do, right?
Somebody. Yep.
Well, that'll wrap up this edition of Dog Center. We're coming back to you committed weekly from here on out throughout the season, and we're going to have some great segments. Stay tuned, and thank you, Athens Regional, official healthcare provider of the Georgia Bulldogs.